On the news, NRC Managing Director takes full responsibility for Abuja-Kaduna trail derailment. APC says party presidential tickets still open for contest despite endorsing Tinubu. Customs hand over 3.7 billion naira expired drugs to NAFDAC. We're glad to have you join News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I am Joy Uchejim. Now, the Managing Director of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, Kayode Okpeifa, says he takes full responsibility for the Abuja-Kaduna train derailment near Asham Station in Kaduna State. On Tuesday, the train, which was traveling from Abuja to Kaduna, veered off the track as several coaches tumbled. The Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau also confirmed that 6 people sustained injuries, but no fatality was recorded. Speaking during a televised interview on Wednesday, Okpeifa described the incident as serious, noting that some coaches and locomotive capsized. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has commiserated with the passengers of the Abuja-Kaduna train, which derailed on Tuesday along the Kaduna corridor shortly after the train left Abuja at about 11 a.m. en route to Kaduna. Tinubu, who stated this on his official X handle, also said that he awaits a full briefing to ensure swift action and support for all those affected. He added that necessary steps were expected to be taken to prevent similar occurrences in the future. Now, President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his commitment to economic reforms aimed at repositioning Nigeria on the global stage. Speaking during an engagement with Nigerians in Brazil, the president drew inspiration from Brazil's advances in technology and food sovereignty, pledging to pursue similar progress in Nigeria. TV 360 correspondent Victoria Akonde reports.
President Bola Tinubu's state visit to Brazil aims to strengthen Nigeria-Brazil relations through economic, energy and strategic partnerships. The key focus includes signing agreements on trade, aviation, science and finance, encouraging the return of Petrobras to Nigeria's oil sector, and launching a direct Lagos to Sao Paulo flight route. On the sidelines of the visit, President Tinubu met with Nigerians in the diaspora to highlight his administration's economic and social reform agenda.
The bold endeavors that we embark upon is to reform the country, bring Nigeria to the forefront of the continent of Africa, get a sense of dedication, commitment, and transformation that will be for our children yet unborn.
He urged Nigerians in diaspora to support his government's efforts, saying their skills and resources remain vital to national development.
For us, it has been a very long journey for our leaders, but we are a generation that is caring with foresight, determination, commitment, and courage to change the history of our continent. I'm proudly standing before you, making a commitment to all of you that Nigeria will be changed for the good of all of us and for the benefit and prosperity of all our citizens.
Also speaking at the meeting, Nigerian governors pointed to agricultural reforms that could shift Nigeria from food sufficiency to full sovereignty in just a few years, citing new initiatives under the leadership of President Tinubu.
These tractors are going to be given to farmers, both the big farmers and smallholder farmers across the 36 states of Nigeria. So when you're talking about mechanization, we are right there ahead of any country in Africa as we are speaking now, under the able leadership of our leader, our president, our mentor. At the state level, I think someone has talked about the issue of some particular crops. And I can tell you, in the last 2 years, Mr. President have made a lot of intervention by all the state governors in Nigeria.
In response, Nigerian migrants expressed their commitment to supporting the nation's progress with a particular focus on advancing agriculture, education, and economic development.
In that regard, we actually been doing that for quite some time now in the area of agriculture, infrastructure, and of course looking for foreign direct investment back home. To be able to do that, I've also recognized, Your Excellency, sir, that human resources in terms of education is what we strongly need to be able to prepare the younger ones for tomorrow so that they can return home and participate.
Happy to have this administration, a transformative leader that God has blessed us with, and we hope His Excellency will take us to the promised land. The 1 trillion economy, we don't want it to take up to 2030. The way we are seeing things, we think it will not even get to 2030 before we achieve this 1 trillion economy.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, highlights the bilateral and economic gains from the visit, while Information Minister Mohammed Idris reveals the expansion of higher education opportunities for young Nigerians by the Nigeria Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund.
It is really something of pride to Nigeria, to the National Assembly, to all Nigerians, that Nigeria is being accorded the kind of prestige, image, and integrity that we saw in Brazil.
As part of the visit, the Tinubu administration aims to rally support from Nigerians at home and abroad by pledging ambitious yet impactful reforms focused on driving innovation-led growth, enhancing food security, and securing sustainable prosperity for the nations. Victoria Akonde, TV260 News, Lagos.
Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has issued a directive mandating that all point-of-sale POS terminals in the country be geotagged within 60 days. This is in a bid to curb fraud and improve oversight of the fast-growing POS industry. The directive, which affects licensed operators, including MoneyPoint, OPay, PalmPay, and commercial banks, requires that every POS device currently in circulation be registered with its exact GPS coordinates. New POS devices must also be geotagged before activation. According to the Apex Bank, any device that fails to meet the requirements by the October 28, 2025 compliance deadline will be deactivated. Now to political stories. The ruling All Progressives Congress APC has dismissed speculations that it will print one presidential nomination form solely for the incumbent president Bola Tinubu and exclude other party chieftains from the contest for its ticket. In the lead-up to the 2027 presidential election, National Organizing Secretary of the party, Sulaiman Argungun, disclosed this at a news conference on Wednesday in Abuja, while confirming that both the National Working Committee and various state chapters had adopted Tinubu as the preferred candidate. The organizing secretary insisted the process remains open. Now, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has once again raised concerns over the Nigerian government's failure to honor a long-standing agreement, a situation they say has left lecturers frustrated, while Nigerian universities continue to struggle with underfunding and declining standards. As part of efforts to draw attention to their grievances, the union embarked on a peaceful protest, insisting that repeated assurances from the government have failed to materialize into meaningful action. TV360 correspondent Solomon Josiah completes the report.
The lingering dispute dates back to the 2009 agreement between ASU and the Nigerian government, which centered on improved funding for universities, better welfare for lecturers, and respect for university autonomy. Union members lament that years of unfulfilled promises have undermined the growth of the country's educational system, hence the need for renewed protests to remind the government of its obligation. They emphasized that the protest was not only about lecturers' welfare, but also about safeguarding the future of higher education in Nigeria.
A lot of things, end allowances, a lot of things that government should do for lecturers, they are not doing for us, they don't listen to us, you know. So it's just a protest for us to drive home the point that this agreement, 2009, that has now given birth to the latest one, Yahya Ahmed committee report, that government should approve it, sign it, and implement it. So that an average professor should at least earn nothing less than $1 million.
If government in its usual way refuses to listen to us, the next thing is for us to meet, and the inevitable, the union will have to now embark on a total and indefinite strike. And that is the language that government understands. It is only when you go on strike that they will not come and say, let us listen to you.
Chairperson of ASU University of Maiduguri chapter, Abubakar Saidu, falls to the government's refusal to sign the renegotiated 2009 agreement, describing it as part of a troubling pattern of broken promises. He also condemned what he described as an attack on university autonomy, criticizing the unilateral decision to rename the University of Maiduguri as Muhammadu Buhari University without proper consultations, arguing that it undermines academic freedom and the independence of Nigerian universities.
Many of our members continue to suffer from unpaid arrears amounting to, but not limited to, the 25-35% wage award. Promotion arrears legally due to academics who earn them through merit remain unpaid in many institutions for over 4 years. Additionally, the punitive withholding of 3.5 months' salaries during the 2022 ASU strike persists as an act of victimization. Immediate settlement of these arrears is essential to restore fairness, boost morale, and maintain industrial harmony within the academic community.
These ASU members vow to sustain the peaceful demonstration until government shows genuine commitment to resolving the long-standing issues. Solomon Josiah, TV360, Borno.
Now, in other stories, the Nigeria Customs Service Federal Operations Unit Zone A, Ikeja, has handed over 3 trucks of expired pharmaceuticals worth 3.7 billion naira to the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC. This was contained in a statement by the Command's Public Relations Officer, Hussaini Abdullahi. According to the statement, the Custom Area Controller in charge of the command, Mohammed Shuaibu, handed over the contraband when he received the new NAFDAC Director in charge of Enforcement and Investigation, Martin Iluyomade, on a courtesy visit to the command in Ikeja, Lagos. And still in Lagos, where residents commute through busy roads, one avoidable hazard persists. An uncovered manhole in Maryland has remained exposed for months, endangering residents, motorists, and commuters alike. Our correspondent Victoria Konde reports on how recurring infrastructure lapses continue to turn city roads into risk zones.
Across Lagos, from Surulere to Anthony and Marina, uncovered manholes have become a familiar and dangerous sight. Some result from vandalism and theft of metal covers, others from construction oversights where contractors fail to replace slabs after sewer works. In the Maryland axis, a manhole has remained open for over a month. Residents and shop owners report that dispatch riders and drivers have collided with it, causing vehicle damage and narrowly avoiding injury. In a desperate effort to warn others, locals have placed tree branches around the hole. However, they say this is not the first time the manhole has been temporarily patched, only to reopen shortly afterward.
One man lost 2 of his tires and even the shock absorber for the front wheel here 2 days ago. He bought tire, he bought the wheel, everything. He spent not less than 200 and something thousand to put the Camry in order. So I don't know. Even I decided to go and use my C caution, and then put as a sign there. Before I know it, I didn't see it in the morning there.
Okada man riding, coming. It was night actually. Because maybe he didn't suspect that it's something, there's a pothole there. I just ran over it. Just thank God it doesn't sustain any injury.
When we wake up in the morning, we saw that place empty like that. We don't know what is happening, what's really happened. But we believe here is a general road. So everybody, at least, they are used to pass. So I believe maybe when they saw something like that, they're supposed to come and do it fix in time. But till today, we didn't see any changes there.
Residents are calling on the Lagos State government to find a lasting solution to the manhole, which they say poses a serious and growing danger.
Some people don't know about these things, and it's a federal road. So it's very delicate and very dangerous to human's life. So that would just, maybe anything from next week should be done, please. And if they want to do it, they should do it, make it concrete. It should be very concrete. So that it should maybe, because it was the other time they did it before it collapsed again. So they should just do something that is very strong. And secondly, the maintenance. They lack maintenance.
They should come and do it in time so that it cannot affect people. Even the trailer enter it and spoiled and wound and the car get broke.
Let the country compete, but the motorists are suffering. It's causing a lot of accidents here.
Experts attribute many of these incidents to vandalism and oversight by agencies tasked with drain maintenance. Uncovered manholes become easy targets for scrap dealers and vandals.
You know, these things are made of metals that these scrap sellers can make money from. That maybe not necessarily scrap sellers, maybe people that feel that knows the economic value of these metals. You know, so they just sometimes remove these things and, you know, go and sell them, thereby exposing these manholes that are dangerous to residents and passers-by of such places. And sometimes when these places are cleaned, when they open these places to clean inside maybe the sewages, for instance, they don't cover it back, or they don't cover it properly, thereby making it easy for these people to take it to go and sell.
They, however, urge the Lagos State government to clamp down on stolen metal scrap markets and demand that maintenance agencies cover every cleaned manhole.
Government can arrange raids from time to time, for instance, so that they can go to these places and clamp down on these people that bring such things to these markets to come and sell. Then additionally, the government agencies that are in charge of cleaning some of these manholes sometimes should do well to properly close these manholes back.
Lagos is a city on the move, but its roads must never become hazards. Neglecting basic safeguards like manhole covers turns every journey into a potential risk. From Maryland to other busy corridors, what Lagos truly needs is not a quick fix, but a lasting commitment to infrastructure and public safety.
A quick break is next. When the news returns, 3 people dead, 20 injured in shooting at Minneapolis Catholic School. We'll be back with details shortly. Thank you for joining News Now again. Let's take you through our main stories. Managing Director of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, Kayode Ogbefa, says he takes full responsibility for the Abuja-Kaduna train derailment near Asham Station in Kaduna State. On Tuesday, the train, which was traveling from Abuja to Kaduna, veered off the track as several coaches tumbled. We also told you that the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) has dismissed speculations that it would print one presidential nomination form solely for the incumbent president Bola Tinubu and exclude other party chieftains from the contest for its ticket in the lead-up to the 2027 presidential election. The National Organizing Secretary of the party, Sulaiman Agugun, disclosed this at a news conference on Wednesday in Abuja. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on X, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Let's switch gears to business news. Now, Chairman and CEO of Airpeace, Allen Onyema, has hailed the signing of a bilateral air services agreement between Nigeria and Brazil as a landmark achievement during President Bola Tinubu's state visit to Brazil. He said the agreement, which paves the way for a direct flight between Lagos and Sao Paulo, will boost trade, tourism, and investment, while deepening ties between Africa's largest economy and Latin America's biggest market. Onyema noted that Airpeace is prepared to commence 3 weekly flights on the route, describing the development as a game changer for connectivity, business expansion, and people-to-people relations between both nations. Also speaking to newsmen on the sidelines of Tinubu's visit to Brazil, Special Advisor to the President on Media and Public Communications, Sunday Dare, highlighted the diverse benefits of the MOU signed by President Bola Tinubu.
Nigeria's largest carrier, Airpeace, has been designated to implement this BASA by running scheduled flight operations into and out of Brazil to Nigeria. So it's a milestone in the sense that the connectivity is something long overdue, and our dear president has made it possible for this to come into fruition today. It will open up both economies. The Brazilian economy is the largest in Latin America. The Nigerian economy is the largest in Africa. So both countries are very rich, both in human and natural resources. They need to tap into this, but without aviation, it will be very, very difficult for some of these things to be actualized. You know, aviation is a catalyst for further development, and today is a significant milestone that has been achieved, and we are very glad about it.
Going forward, I think if we're able to set up a task force that will take this forward, the immediate benefits will start. Already tomorrow, we know there's an Airpeace flight going to Abuja tomorrow. We know that in another 1 or 2 weeks, Lagos and Sao Paulo will just be a dash, 8 hours, 8.5 hours. These are major open skies between two countries. I think we're seeing a new vista that will energize the effort and the reform started by Mr. President in terms of diversification, in terms of opportunities for our young people. Their skills program in this country is one of the best. An MOU was signed yesterday. Another one will be signed. Smidan is here, Naseni is here. So the youth of our country already should be happy that this president is breaking the frontiers for them, not just resources within our country, but also networking across the Atlantic for the benefit of our young people.
Now is the third trading day of the week, and for the first time this week, the Nigerian equities market took a dip, slipping by 0.36%. The market capitalization now stands at 89.38 trillion naira. On the losers chart, Cornerstone Insurance led the pack with a 10% drop, closing at 6.39 naira per share, followed closely by RT Briscoe. Now, by the close of today's session on the Nigerian exchange, investors traded a total of over 682 million shares in 28,651 deals, with a market turnover of roughly 22.2 billion naira. Now, globally, the picture was mixed. Major stock indices tickled slightly higher, but the US Dow Jones and Japan's Nikkei closed in the green, while the UK's FTSE defied the trend to close in negative territory. And in the forex market, the naira traded at 1,545 naira to the dollar, 2,120 naira to the pound, and 1,800 naira to the euro on the black market. And on the foreign scene, 3 children have been killed and 20 injured in a shooting at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis, the United States, on Wednesday morning. According to local reports, the shooter was among those killed. The children were at a morning mass when shooting began. U.S. President Donald Trump said he had been briefed on the shooting and said the FBI was on the scene. Meanwhile, the Department of Homeland Security is in touch with local authorities and monitoring the situation, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem disclosed on social media. And still on the foreign scene, Brazil's President Luiz da Silva has said that the United States has revoked the visa of Justice Minister Ricardo Lewandowski, a move he termed irresponsible. President Donald Trump had also imposed crippling 50% tariffs on dozens of Brazilian imports and sanctioned the judge overseeing Bolsonaro's trial, which he has called a witch hunt. The U.S. State Department is yet to confirm the latest in a series of punitive measures taken by Washington against Brazil for putting former far-right President Jair Bolsonaro on trial for alleged coup plotting. And now on sports, Onitsha, the commercial hub of Anambra State and the southeast, has taken on a new identity every Monday as the town's bustling trade gives way to an unusual culture of sports and recreation. Following the sit-at-home directive enforced across the region by a proscribed separatist group, youths and traders in the city now troop out in large numbers to engage in aerobics, football and other exercises instead of opening their shops. While the Anambra State government has repeatedly ordered the reopening of markets on Mondays and even restricted access to Onitsha Stadium to discourage the practice, residents say the routine has become a welcome lifestyle, offering both health benefits and community bonding.
Somehow, we find it that there is enough chance to do it because as a businessman, we are not doing anything business today. So we try to help ourselves by doing that.
Today, as we are calling it, today is sit at home. And I'm a trader in our place. Our church used to be closed. So I'm not in the street. So no need of staying at home and doing and staying idle because I don't mind. It's always a level of shop. So in the morning I used to come here to exercise myself. This exercise that we are doing is giving me energy and more strength, and in the make some of my weights reduce weight for my own side and many of us.
And that wraps up our bulletin on News Now. Many thanks for joining us. See you next time.